Kibera is the largest slum in all of Africa. In less than 2 square miles, there are over 1 million people living with no toilets, very little water, and it is common for the electricity to go out for days and days. I met some amazing people and heard some amazing stories. This is one of the people I met in Kibera. Hi, how are you?
Fine.
All right, can you tell me what your name is?
I'm Sophia.
Sophia? And how is it that you came to Kibera?
In Kibera, I work with an organization called Harambee Arts.
Okay.
That is based in Kenya, but it's from California.
All right. Are you from California?
No.
No? Where are you from?
No, I'm from a lot of places.
Okay.
In the world. But it was founded by a woman called Gloria Simoneaux, who's from California. And she's an art therapist. And what we do is we work in Kibera with around 25 to 50 children. We started painting murals all over Kibera, and also the outside of people's houses, of the children's houses. Now we do more individualized pieces, where we meet every weekend and we paint, and it's just free expression. And we also take the kids swimming, teaching them how to swim, doing different things like that. So that's one of the places we work. We also work in primary schools with special units, which is autism, kids with autism and Down syndrome, who are also living in poverty. And we also work in the women's prison with HIV positive prisoners.
Tell me about autism and Down syndrome.
In Kenya?
Yeah.
It is not easily accepted at all. There's stories of some of the kids that we work with who have been tethered to the tables at home. And then they're found tethered to these tables. They're never allowed to leave their houses, and some of them are brought to these schools where within public schools in Kenya, there's what they call special units, which are, I guess, for autism and Down syndrome. Mainly autism, though, is what you really find.
Do they know it to be autism and Down syndrome? I mean,
oh yeah.
So they know what it is.
They are, and they're with teachers that are trained with being with special needs children.
Okay.
So there's an awareness. There's definitely an awareness, a level of awareness. But most of these kids are beat up at home, and they're also usually trained to be like houseboys or housegirls. So they're very good at cleaning the classrooms or doing things like that, because that's what their parents are training them as, because in their mind that's what they're best at doing. There's nothing else they can't do. So we started painting with these kids, and we've actually seen changes in some of the children where, for example, one of the girls with autism and epilepsy, when we first met her, wouldn't talk. She was completely, almost not mute, but she wouldn't relate to people. She always had her eyes down on the ground. Over the past 6 months of painting with her every week, she now, and this is the only thing that's changed in her life, she laughs, she cries, she jumps up and down, she kisses people, she talks constantly. You can't get her really to stop talking now, and she's a completely different person.
And she's forming sentences and...
Forming sentences, expression, it's incredible. It's like almost a miracle, really. And the only thing that's changed in her life is that we now paint regularly with her.
And this is in what kind of time span?
What? How many months?
Yeah, that you've been working with her?
About 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a gradual change, and the most significant change came when we displayed their artwork at the National Museum of Modern Art, or the Museum of Modern Art in Kenya, and we took them to see their exhibition. And their exhibition was like an adult exhibition with professional artists right next to them. And when they recognized their artwork in this really polished setting, their self-confidence just boosted, and they immediately understood what they were doing. And now they can't wait to paint. I mean, painting is like their main form of expression now.
So this has been a theme that's come up a lot with us here in Kibera, art and its role in education and in the lives of children. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, the thing with art is that when dealing with children I mean really specifically with children, but also with adults, but children, dealing with trauma and their own vulnerability and the experiences that they go through, whether in a slum, whether they suffer from autism or Down syndrome, whatever it is, there's something about art, and that art, well, as you're creating, the act of creation is you're really in the present, and you're not focused on your past or your future or your problems, but it's about getting those children. The way that we work is having those children be in the exact moment that they're in and expressing whatever comes to them in that exact moment. It doesn't matter if it's beautiful or ugly, there is no judgment within it. So the role of art is it's not so much escapism, but it's having people connect to where they are right now. Are you following that?
Yes.
Is that making sense? So in that way, it's kind of profound in that way, but yet it's very basic and very easy to do. And I think that that's why art is having such an effect within these situations, because it's very powerful.
Do you think that art affects other areas of education, like math and science and reading?
Yeah, because when you're creating, when you're doing art, you're using your right brain, as opposed to our more linear thinking that we're trained to do with math and science, and the way that we're brought up is to use our left brain. When we're using our right brain, we're tapping into a different part of our system, part of our consciousness, and it balances it out, and it does complement our math skills and our science skills and our analytical skills. So yeah.
How long have you been in Kibera, in Kenya?
I've been working in Kenya since January, but Harambee Arts has been here for about a year now.
And how long do you plan on staying?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. The woman I work for, who's Gloria Simoneaux in Harambee Arts, she's actually a Fulbright scholar. And she's actually here on her Fulbright scholar. That has now been extended until the end of the year. So we know for sure we're going to be here till the end of the year. And we're trying to make it as sustainable as possible so that if we were to leave, there's people to carry on the work. That's a whole other issue.
It seems to be a big thing here, that so many people come here and start things, and there's a lot of momentum in the beginning, and then they leave. And then what happens after that seems to be the fallout, you know?
It's the biggest downside of this work, is that you can spend 6 months a year, 3 years, really touching the lives of kids and really seeing change in children. And the second you leave, it literally drops, and the kids are kind of left hanging. A lot of that comes with funding, lack of funding.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's what it is. Like right now, we really don't have any money left. That's a huge problem for us right now. And then the other thing is training, is finding people who want to continue this work, who want to be trained up for it and continue it, whether they get money or not. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part of it.
So if I ask this to everybody I interview, or I have been, if you could just say one thing out to the world, and this will go out to the world, about Kibera and about your experience here, what would it be?
Oh wow. Every single day spent here is inspiring, beyond belief. It is almost soul-filling, where you see the impact, the tiniest little. You can put little energy into this, and yet you get so much from it. And it's inspiring to see. And the resiliency of people here is, it's truly ineffable. I can't even put words to it, because they're constantly, every single day, tapping into their own resiliency and are stronger for it. Yeah.
All right, thank you.